Live from the virtual Martinsville Speedway. It's Sunday night, and that means it's time for the Blazing Pedals ARCA League. Welcome, everyone, here live on Green Flag TV. I am Derrick Watson here along tonight with Teddy Lowendick, and we're going to call the action here from Virginia at the short track facility. Well, Teddy, here we are. It is the quintessential short track. We've seen beats and bumps and bump and runs and door bangs, and tempers get really hot here. But as we prepare for 300 laps, this could be an interesting night.
Yeah, hope there's a lot of people out there eating their red hot dogs. I believe it's the Jesse James hot dog. It's a staple food choice here at Martinsville. I've had one myself. I've been there before. It's a fun little track shaped like a paperclip. It's going to be a fun time.
It'll be a great time here for this Blazing Pedals League. Look at the schedule tonight. Here we are. 60 and 120 are the two stages. Next week's Milwaukee, then Vegas before we take the weekend off for Labor Day, and then Pocono, Phoenix, and New Hampshire up ahead in the counter. So a bunch of short tracks here. So if you're a short track racer, you're probably pretty stoked. Well, who else is stoked? You know, I bet it's going to be our points leader. Let's take a look at that. Dalton Kilroe over 52 points over Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Justin Levine's back there at 858. And then, Teddy, gets kind of interesting now. Look at that gap there. Mark Arthur, Zimmerman, Perkins. Some of these guys may not be fighting for first, but there's still some battles here in the top 10.
Yeah, the points definitely, there's a little bit of a gap there at the top, but there in the middle, it's still something worth fighting for. Keep their heads up and keep grinding it out. You never know where we're going to end up when the season finishes.
Yeah, a long season ahead, so who knows what may come of that. Let's also take a look at the team points here, this unique team point format. And two dudes still up there, but one Simmons made a charge recently in the team points. And remember, this is that different format. We're going to take your average of your best and worst finisher on track week by week. We're going to average them out, and then the team with the best average wins the point. So two dudes for a while had started to kind of walk away with this, and then one sim has really tried to have a resurgence here, and there's still plenty of time available. Well, now let's get into qualifying. Let's see how things are going on track. And these will be very quick laps here, likely right around the 19-20 second mark. You see Dalton Kilroe, he's there on pit road, just kind of waiting. Teddy, in this league, some drivers like to wait it out and kind of want to see if they can find, I guess, the optimal time to go. But here goes Dalton Kilroe, and he's going to start his warm-up lap.
Interesting taking the high line here to maximize his exit speed.
A little higher in the corner than one might expect, you would think, right?
I'm with you there. Yeah, I would have expected him to be a little lower there in the corner. Maybe he's just using this as a throwaway lap, going to reset and try it again.
Well, this is the end of the first lap. That's how fast the lap is here. Come on around again and see what we're looking here. Only a couple drivers have taken. Yeah, that's the line we'd expect. There's a couple of drivers have taken time so far. You see only 6 on the board. That number will increase as time goes on. Here comes Kilroe around out of 3 and 4. He'll come up to the line. Last time a 20.083. This time in the 19s, a 3.81. That puts him top of the board.
It's a good lap.
That is a good lap. It's a pretty solid lap, in fact, I would say. Here comes Trevor Harmon in that black and magenta Team 5 Motorsports machine. So, as you said, Teddy, from a driver's perspective, typically when you're running laps here, there's really only like one groove to use in the corners, you would think, right?
Yeah, you want to run the bottom, hug that curve as best as you can. Don't want to touch the curb. Bad things happen to good people if you do that, but there's a little bit of a diamond. You'll see the drivers go into the corner, kind of slide up just maybe a tire's width off that curb, and then they'll turn it right back down on exit. Trevor here, first lap, he's doing the bottom all the way around, whereas we saw the previous driver was doing the high line on the first lap. So interesting, different way of approaching qualifying here.
Different indeed. Last time by a 19.607, so a pretty fast first lap. A little bit of wiggle out of the corner, and this lap will be just slightly faster. A 19.509 puts him second on the board here. So about halfway through qualifying, some more drivers come out. Justin Levine in that Taco Bell machine is now going to make his run and see what comes of that. So Again, this is probably one of the trickier runs of qualifying to talk about because it just, we'll see it more and more as this race goes on. But compared to some other tracks, maybe like a Atlanta last week or a Milwaukee or a Vegas up on the schedule, it's just hard to find a different way to do this.
Curious how he approaches the corner here. Oh, he's done. Interesting. Yep, exiting on the track there. Okay. Watch out for those guys next to those sand barrels.
Yeah, you saw Matthew Kleinschmidt must have wrecked. You saw the notice up top. He had to get some required repairs, so he must have, I'm guessing, wrecked in one of his qualifying runs. That'll end that for him. And about a little less than 4 minutes to go on the clock here. Wait and see if anyone else wants to come out. Some guys, Teddy, like to wait as long as possible. You see Tater Butcher Benjamin second in points. I mean, I guess you're hoping by waiting that maybe the temperature's a little different, or that maybe what the goal is.
Yeah, I guess there would be a benefit if the track temperature changes just ever so slightly. You're going to get a little extra grip, and then some people like to know what they're chasing, right? So if you wait until you're one of the last few out there, you see what your target is, and gives you something to shoot for.
Well, speaking of something to shoot for, you see him getting up out of the corner, back on the gas pedal, and he's going to shoot for that first lap time. And that puts him top of the board, actually. It's a 19.375. That puts him ahead of Kilrow by a little less than 1/10 of a second. And he's going to come around again. So that's an impressive first lap. It felt like Kilrow really kind of wanted to warm it up and get it moving. TBB says, I'll just go ahead and smack it down the first lap. Second lap, almost identical. No, fastest, I'm sorry, it's faster. A 19.337. So both of those in the low 19.3s.
10 car to P1. Ooh, is this like this scheme looks like a little throwback to Dale Jarrett's quality care scheme.
Yeah, it does kind of give you that impression, doesn't it? A little bit of an old retro look. Hunter Lagoons on the track in the 27. He'll get his first lap started, get down in the corner, and then, of course, a lot of the success here. Ooh, see a bit of a wiggle there, didn't you?
Yeah, just he got that curb a little bit, and you saw what happens when you hit that. He got that little bit, it bumped him up, got him a little loose. See if he regroups here.
Yeah, see if it rattles him in turn one again. Let's watch this time. Let's hit off at that time. And heck, even, by the way, look at that time for the first lap. Despite that wiggle, still a 19.397 is third place on the board. So, going to come out of turn four. This might be a faster look. Let's see, a 19.407 is not faster. So this will put him down the board. By the way, Chris Connell and Cody Gibson now come out and put times down the board. They're now up on the pole. Colby Jackson's trying in that very bright green Mountain Dew machine. So here comes that herd of cars that qualify late.
And they all did wait until that last couple of minutes to come out. Putting in some really quick lap times now. 19.2, that's the first one we've seen in there, I believe.
Yep, as this track is getting faster, or the drivers are getting more determined, or a bit of both. Here's Tanner Marr in the 4, by the way. First time at 19.565. That'll put him mid-pack on the board, back in P12 currently. He's going to come down the back straight here, gets into the brakes. And you want to let that car roll until it's ready to get back on the gas pedal again, and he does. See what he hits this time. Looking pretty good. A 19.454 puts him up to P8 on the board.
It's a good starting spot here at Martinsville. Inside the top 10 is always a good place to start. Outside, might be able to roll. Let's see if he finishes there.
Here's the wild man, Kyle Wellman in the 42. I believe this is going to be our last car. We're down to 10 seconds of qualifying here. About a little more than 10 seconds, pardon me, in qualifying. So this should be our last run right here, and he's going to finish it in the 19.4s. That puts Wellman now back in P9. Well, I think qualifying is wrapped up, so we can now take a look at tonight's starting grid at Martinsville. Let's go and take a look on pole. Ended up being a 19.242 for Chris Carroll, the number 97 machine. He'll line up next to Cody Gibson, that number 7 Cheetos machine. Back in P3, Tanner Butcher Benjamin and Dalton Kilrow. They are first and second in points, and they'll line up next to each other in row number 2. Going to move back here to Hunter Lagoons, that number 27 machine. He's next to 33 and John Perkins for P5, P6. P7, Austin Edstrom, who commentates here on Green Flag Team on Monday nights in the High Tide Racing League in the KFC car. He's next to Tanner Marr, number 4. P9 is Kyle Wellman in the 42, and he's next to Brian Zimmerman back in P10. Moving back into P11, we'll find Trevor Harmon, part of Team 5 Motorsports. He's next to Justin Levine in that Taco Bell car. P13, Colby Jackson in the Mountain Dew machine. The number 73 is lined up next to Brian Dees in that 17 car. P15 is Nicholas Moody, and he is next to Ty Marasco in that number 1 Dairy Queen inspired car. Matthew Kleinschmidt, back in P17, and he's next to 18 of William Burton. And that's it. That is all of the cars that took a time. P19 currently is listed as Thomas Freitas if he decides to turn a lap here, and Mike Maskingill will line up P20 on the board. Well, before we get into tonight's race festivities, it's important to note that tonight is a memorial race. The loss of a family member of a league member this week hit the community pretty hard, and they wanted to go and take a moment and celebrate that moment right now. This is Mike Maskingill's father-in-law, Harold Bud Milner. And Bud was known as a man of quiet strength. He also had deep integrity and an unwavering devotion to his family. He proudly served in the United States Air Force and was a veteran of the Korean War. A true outdoorsman at heart, he found joy in life's simple pleasures: hunting, fishing, carpentry, and cheering on his beloved Cleveland Browns. Nothing brought him more happiness or any greater happiness than the time he spent with his family, especially singing nursery rhymes to his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. He also created cherished moments of laughter, comfort, and love with his family. Bud's warmth, humor, and hardworking spirit left an indelible impression on everyone who knew him. His legacy will live on through the many lives he touched and the memories he helped create. So tonight, in loving memory of Harold Bud Milner, who passed away July 31st, 2025, this race will be in his memory. Well, the cars come around, and on the driver chat, they're talking about that memory as well, and you see the car stopped right there, has Harold's face on it, and Mike just getting his moment there to show the moment of tribute he wants to serve. And Teddy, I talk sometimes about in iRacing compared to other esports, we get this awesome ability where we get to use our cars and our paints and our liveries and support the things we care about, whether it's family members, charities, causes, or what have you. That's not an opportunity every esport really gets.
No, it's not. I love we have with the paints, the creativity that iRacing allows. There are some, things you need to stay within, but for the most part, you can do whatever you want, and it allows us to do things like this and pay tribute to those loved ones of ours. And yeah, like you said, it's in other esports you really have to follow. You don't really have much creativity, right. So yeah.
Well, Mike will now begin his work around the field here so he can catch the pace car. In fact, before this race goes green, let's go ahead and take a look at our time and weather for the night real quick here. And we're going to see here that it is currently about 8 o'clock p.m. virtual sim time. So we're likely to end under the lights. It is a cool 64 degrees Fahrenheit on the track, Teddy. So lots of grip likely to be found here on this short track.
Going to be very grippy, very cool. It's going to be good. Speeds are going to be up. It's going to be fun. Hopefully that allows the high line to kind of come into play too, where you can roll it, keep the speed up. Looking forward to seeing what these guys can do.
Yeah, and I'll correct myself. I said 64. That says 84. I'm hoping for cooler days. It's a hot 90-degree day here in the Pacific Northwest, and I think I'm just dreaming of the cooler fall weather. So, yeah, 84 is what that track temp says. Well, here we go. Let's get lined up. Chris Carroll's had a lot of success this season in this league. Cody Gibson's up there, TBB, Kilrow, Hunter Lagoon. So, a lot of exciting action. This time by, we'll see what the pace car is going to make that left-hand turn. And the field will be in the hands of Barney, the flagman. Glad you're here along with us. Dustin, Ollis pushing the buttons in the booth. Ted Lowendeck next to me in the booth. I am Derrick Watson, and let's go green flag racing at Martinsville. Like you saw right there, almost on cue as the green flag fell, the stadium lights turned on. It is going to be nighttime in virtual Martinsville, Virginia, and we'll get a nice race headed here so far. Chris Carroll's leading the field on around. Pretty much single file for the top three. Still some double file races in the back of the field, Teddy. And hold on, there's a spin. Trevor Harmon's around. I think that might have been Brian Zimmerman, yep, saw right there. So, Teddy, it didn't take long for our first caution to come out.
I was just about to say, it looked like someone might have gotten into the wall coming off of turn 2, and it caused them to go 3 wide. I don't know if that played a factor in what just happened there, but yeah, it looks like they made it 1.5 before chaos ensued.
Yep, you see all the cookout branding here at the track, a big sponsor, real life. But let's now take a look at the wreck, see what happens. Yep, there you go. That's a good call, Ted. You saw the car bounce off the wall out at 2. That was Brian Zimmerman. Now, he's not the cause. It's going to be that bright green machine and getting it back to Trevor Harmon, and Zimmerman trying to check up, and I think someone's kind of ran him over. So almost 2 separate wrecks here under our first caution. There's what you saw, Teddy, the car up in the wall. Now watch up ahead. He's going to try to check up here.
Oh, kind of a little loose there on entry 2. Saw the back end kind of wiggle under braking. And unfortunately, not a lot of damage, it looks like. Probably going to be able to fix that, if anything.
Yep. Well, drivers and race control all kind of talking to each other, saying, hey, guys, remember, it's 300 laps. We don't need to be this aggressive in lap 1. But, hey, trying to tell a driver not to be aggressive, not always a talk that goes well. Sometimes as drivers, you guys want to be aggressive and find every chance you can.
I want to go fast, Derrick. I don't want to go slow. But yeah, it's a long race. You've got 300 laps here. It's not timed. It's a full 300. So take your time, give some space. You can't win it on the first lap, but you can surely lose it. Just make sure you're there at the end and give yourself a chance.
Yep. Well, speaking of losing, Colby Jackson's going to lose a few spots here because he's going to get the end-of-line penalty and be deemed at fault for this wreck because of the fact he got into Trevor Harmon. So he'll fall to the back of the field here. That'll put him back in P19 on this restart. Well, these caution laps happen fast here, and we are already double fouled up. The lights in the pace car are out, so we're going to try it again. And let's see what happens here. Not too much movement in that first run. Didn't last that long. Let's see what happens. Pace car's going to make that left-hand turn. Hopefully not that many times it happens tonight. He'll come down pit road. Now on the restarts, it's in the hands of the flagman once again. We do not jump restarts in Blazing Pedals. We wait for the green flag. They'll come out of turn 4. Chris Carroll is your control car. He waits and waits, and there it is. Green flag.
Good jump there from P1. 27's trying to roll the high side there. Back in 3rd, it looks like. He's got a run going down into turn 3. See if he's going to try to fill that hole. Yep, falls in right there.
Doesn't take long here for things to get single filed out, apparently, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars at least all in a line. I suspect. Well, no, there's one car up top. That is Austin Edstrom. He's stuck up top of TBB. Got Tanner Marr behind him. And when you're up top at Martinsville, this is a rough ride, Teddy, because if you get up out of that dark or that light gray stuff, it doesn't go well just like that.
It's a little bit of a bump there. I think he's okay. He'll brush that one off. These guys are side by side here.
Yep, this is Perkins up top. He's now going to get past, and he'll fall in line. That's Kyle Wellman up ahead of him.
There's a lot of food-based paint schemes in this series, and it's kind of making me hungry. You've got a KFC one. I saw a Mountain Dew.
Yep,
earlier.
Taco Bell for Justin Levine.
There's a Taco Bell.
You see the cookout branding around the track, which apparently you and I have never had before. We were getting a lecture pre-race from our producer, Dustin Ollis, about how great cookout is. And I don't know. Never
I don't
had
even
it.
know where I could find the first cookout, to be honest.
I think in Tennessee is the closest one to you, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll find out here. New fastest lap set, by the way, Chris Carroll, your leader. He is setting a pretty great pace, but Cody Gibson's not letting up, not letting there be a whole lot of space between those two cars. They're going around. And remember we said how fast Martinsville happens. Look at that. We're already up to lap 13. Felt like we just cautioned on lap 1.5, but quickly this thing is moving on along. So they'll come up out of the corner again. And look, there's Dalton Kilmer up in P4, your points leader, trying to have a good night. And I think all through the track, Teddy, I think it's turned into a bit of a single file run here.
Little look here inside Taco Bell car.
These are teammates, by the way.
Okay, I'm going to try to learn your names by the end of the night.
It's the Levine in the 5 on the inside, Matthew Kleinschmidt in the 59. He tagged the wall, he tagged Levine, and I think we're all good. That's, oh boy.
And they're still side by side.
Woo. I thought Levine was in for a bad ride, Teddy.
Yeah, that was... I don't think... Well, I think either... Both of them are going to want a new change of underpants, if you know what I mean.
That
no, I
is
don't
probably
think
some
you're
interesting
expecting
team
that to
communications,
happen.
by the way.
Yeah, got in the wall. Good save by both of those guys. You know, honestly, the 5 car probably helped the 59 from wrecking there, so that's a good team effort there to keep both cars moving forward.
You have your own team rating you do on Wednesday nights in the Premier Sim Racing, and I'm sure the moments when teammates get together is always interesting in the voice chat, right?
Yeah, it depends on who it is. Oh man, it's close. Yeah, you don't want to do something to your teammate, especially, and you don't want to do something that's going to bring out a yellow flag. So, especially when one of your teammates is the lead steward for the series.
Yeah, something you face on Wednesday nights, right?
Yeah. So, and you know, so we don't know how their discussion's going. Maybe they're like, hey, let's give Kev some more space here. But another pass here going on the 1 car inside to 83.
Yep, that's Ty Marasco making the pass there on William Burton. This is back in the field. This is P17 and P18. Of note, by the way, Ty Marasco, the only car who pitted under that caution. So I'm guessing this maybe topped off with fuel. No reason you take tires there and not a long enough stop. Yeah, so I'm guessing it was just kind of top it off on fuel.
I would agree. I'm curious how that's going to play out for him later. I don't know. Do we know how long we expect
it'll
him
be
to able to
close.
run on?
We'll wait and see. Of course, it depends on a lot of these drivers are really great fuel savings. So oftentimes the fuel numbers you would expect to see, we often break those. I mean, a lot of these drivers love to fuel save. You'll see it happening. You'll hear it happening through the corners. But right now what you're seeing is Austin Edstrom getting about as close as he could get to that Rick and Morty car without actually making contact. Little by little, Edstrom is faster most laps than the driver in front of him. He just can't find a way around.
And I think that's just goes back to Martinsville in general. Unless you get a really good run on someone coming out of the corner, it's difficult to just pass them unless you put the front bumper to their rear bumper and kind of move them out of the way. We'll see. Looks like this battle for P1 is still fairly close too. They've built a little bit of a gap here to P3, but yeah, they're still holding it pretty close up here at the top.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Cody Gibson does not want to let Carroll get away, but that time that felt faster. Let's take a look at the times. It is about 0.2 of a second faster just that lap. Look at the bottom of your screen now. Talk about how close you're getting. The green is good for Gibson. The yellows are bad for Gibson. So that means on the yellows, he's losing a little bit of time lap by lap. On the greens, he's gaining. But look at those margins, though. I mean, they're not much. 1/10 of a second, less than a tenth, less of a tenth. So very slowly that margin changes. There's, a pass on Nicholas Moody by Colby Jackson up out of the corner. And this is now our closest battle on the track.
I feel like Colby needs to be in like a cheese sponsorship, like Sargento or something. Colby
I'm going to guess you're not the first person to suggest that to me.
Probably not.
It's just a wild guess.
I don't know how Mountain Dew and cheese would mix though. So
Ugh.
No. Oh.
Getting bad jokes in our ears from our producer Dustin Ollis, and yeah, I don't think Mountain Dew and cheese. I don't know. I've probably eaten weirder things than Mountain Dew and cheese, but yeah, probably not the worst thing. But here now, Jackson's trying to catch up with Kleinschmidt. Kleinschmidt's the car we saw involved a moment ago with that bad wiggle for Justin Levine, and I mean this is gonna be the story of the night all night. You watch this here. It's mostly a single groove race. Jackson digs it in deep though, and I think Kleinschmidt felt it coming. Didn't fight it. Jackson on a round. All is good there. But for the most of the night, passing is going to be the problem here, Teddy.
I was noticing it looked like Matthew was a little loose there on entry a couple of laps before. But it looks like it there again, too. Maybe he's fighting something with the rear of the car. Maybe he's got some damage that we can't really see that's causing, just under braking, causing it to be a little weird for him. I know maybe we've got some dialed back to brake bias a little bit to help with rotation in the corner. But if he's moved too far back, that would make him loose on entry. So it's just like a fun little, oh, this is close here, 33.
John
Oof.
Perkins got in the back of Kyle Wellman, and yeah, that got close. You're right. That was maybe one of our closest bits. Now watch behind him. Butcher Benjamin's all to the back of Perkins. Austin Edstrom's involved in this battle. Tanner Mars on back behind that. So despite what feels like a race is already spread out a little bit, these five guys don't know that. So they've decided to go ahead and keep pretty close proximity here. And it just takes one bad braking point right here, and this could all go from good to bad in just a moment.
Oh, on the curb, 10 on the curb. Oof. Okay, he saved it. That could have been really bad for the cars behind him, but it looks like everybody saw it and checked up, gave him some space.
And almost on cue, I said one bad braking point could take, I guess, one bad corner, and everything could have went bad.
Taylor, good save there. Oh man, that could have been really bad for everybody behind him. So, but they're moving forward. That's good. This looks like it might be our closest battle on track.
Yeah, this is the battle, by the way, for P5 on back. That black and white car up top, that's Kyle Wellman. That's your P5, and 6 is Perkins, 7 is Benjamin, 8 is Edstrom, 9 is Marr, and then on back, I think Justin Levine's maybe the next car behind that. So these guys are fighting hard. Watch this again. This is what you saw, Teddy.
Oh, there was contact. Oh, okay. That's why. All right. Oh, I take back what I said. It wasn't his own driving fault. So,
got a little bit of assist. You're a hockey guy. That'd be an assist if that turned into a goal. I think right there, right?
Correct. Yeah, you'd still get a point for that. I don't know. Maybe you'd get a 2-minute minor for roughing, but we'll leave that one to be debated.
All right. Well, here we are working at lap 35, already halfway through this first stage. This first stage ends at the end of lap 60. So when things get moving at Martinsville, they really do get moving. Most drivers running still in the 19-second lap times around the track. Let's watch this again. Ooh. See, I mean, Edstrom got in the back of me, but I said one bad braking point earlier. I wonder if Edstrom was just being aggressive in the corner, or if maybe Benjamin, got him to brake a little sooner. Something happened there that caused that moment to happen that was probably unpredictable. Saw a slow car in the track. Not sure what would have caused that, but all seems good. That's the 60 and Nicholas Moody. Not sure if he was just being slow and letting someone by, or if maybe something happened to him, but let's watch this here. He's just letting Morass go by.
Yep, just moved way out of the way, and nothing to worry about there.
And I know that
here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Derrick.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say something. Point out with Martinsville, the bottom, like in the corners, it's an asphalt track for the most part, but in the corners where the racing line is, it switches to concrete. And that concrete surface is grippier than the asphalt will be. It also destroys your tires, so it's important to be gentle when you're getting back on the throttle. Imagine there's an egg under that throttle pedal as you're squeezing it down. You're not going to try to just break the egg outright. You're trying to just get gently back on the throttle. That'll also help with the fuel saving as well. 4 car pushes the 10 up just a little bit there. They're still side by side going into the next corner. Oh my gosh, we got 2 by 2 by 2 all over the place here.
Yeah, they are definitely getting 2 wide. Oh, there's 3 wide in the back, with then maybe Kleinschmidt trying to let some drivers by. And now I think it's starting to slowly work out. Perkins is on through. Edstrom's on through. Tanner Marr will be next in line. They're all trying to get a pass on Kyle Wellman. And a single filed out for the second. Wellman tried to get up on top of Edstrom. Oh, gets in the back of him. Edstrom wiggles, and we're somehow good once again.
This is our battle for P6 right now.
Yep, Tanner Marr's back there. Justin Levine wants now to make that pass. Levine's going to try to get on the outside, and he'll just try to set something up later. If you make a pass on the outside of Martinsville, you're a beast.
Yeah, it's not the preferred line. Oh, little bump there, got him up out of the. Really forced his way in there.
Boy, I thought at some point tonight patience would grow thin and moves would happen. I thought it would happen a little later than in the 40 range of laps when we're going 300. But quickly, some drivers are trying to make their way through, I guess.
Ooh, another close. Yikes. Someone was wide coming off of the corner as well. Up ahead of them.
Now we're seeing Brian Dees. He's now, boy, getting the side of that 42.
Oh, they were 3 wide.
Jeez Louise, they really were. I didn't see that from the first camera shot. That's a lapped car of 83 that was involved. He was trying to get out of the way. But, boy, it felt like in the last 10 laps, Teddy, that this 42 of Wellman has had a target on the side of the car. I mean, you see Levine get into him. I think we saw Edstrom make some contact. Dees made some contact. Just a bad set of laps here for Wellman.
Yeah, and you don't know if maybe the people behind him thought he was holding them up, and they were like, hey, it's got to go. Time to go. Leaders are getting away. Leaders are coming. The track's so short.
Same thing in the track, yeah.
I was going to say, the track's so short. You don't want to waste too much time behind somebody. I'm not saying you have to bully them to get them out of the way, but sometimes you do have to be a little physical in a short track.
This is one of the camera views. That's John Perkins, Austin Edstrom on around. Right side, or excuse me, left side of your screen, you'll see there the number of spots up and down the drivers are this evening. So you see Hunter Lagoon's up 2. Of note, Brian D's up 4. That's going to be our biggest mover so far. Brian Zimmerman down 7 is our biggest drop. But right now, first and second have not moved. Carroll and Gibson. Hunter Lagoon's now up 3. Ooh. Hold on. Here's Dalton Kilrow. He's going to make the pass from Gibson. Yep. This is the battle for 2, 3, and 4. Second, third, and fourth. Lagoon's up in second. Kilrow and Gibson want to catch him. Kilrow looks to maybe have turned on the aggression a little bit. He wants to make a pass here. Watch this. Gilm was very deep in that corner, and Gibson just got up there by himself. I don't know what happened. If he just maybe misjudged, he entered that corner and never really got the car back under him.
You know, when I've done this before, you've ran 50 some laps here just running the bottom line, and the moment you get off your line and because someone's inside of you, you haven't done that yet, and you just kind of throttle up like you'd be on the bottom, and you run out of racetrack a lot faster than you expect to.
Yeah, and while that surface, that light gray surface down there is big enough for 2 wide, it doesn't behave the same. And of course, if you get up beyond that light surface right there, you get up in that dark surface up there, it is worse on the race cars. So it is very, very difficult to get 2 wide here and survive. Now Edstrom wants to make the move here on John Perkins. This is going back for P5, P6, P7. So when we come to short track racing, Teddy, I'm curious, of course, you come from the road course side of racing. You've now spent a few years on the oval side. When we come to a short track where braking points are important and really possibly, trail braking and as you said, treating that throttle so gently like there's an egg under it, does that in some ways benefit a road course driver because of the number of times you have to be on the brakes in a road course?
I think so. I think the big benefit is the trail braking aspect of it. We got a car up here running high, and I think they're okay. Maybe just a lap car getting out of the way again. But yeah, back to the road course racing. Being able to trail brake into tight corners like this and being able to get back on the throttle smoothly, that's going to pay dividends to those who are used to it. Ooh, maybe looking to the outside here.
Austin Edstrom pulls that off. He's my hero. If he makes the pass happen, look at this. He might be my new hero. Oh, boy.
You know, I kind of like what he's doing here. He's getting a nice diamond, cutting down hard, getting a good run off the corner.
Yeah, doing a great job. Maybe at most doesn't think he's going to pass Perkins, by the way. Just kind of wants to be a menace in the mirror, right? Wants to make his presence felt, wants to make it known. Only a couple laps left in the stage here. Just want to point that out real quick. We'll end at the end of 60, as the top of the screen tells you here. But, oh boy, there's a car up there. But sometimes, Teddy, when you're racing this hard, you're not trying to pass someone.
Rewind.
You're almost just trying to maybe kind of make them aware of you and see if you can make them slip up.
Yep, and he's got a run here off the top. He's going to be about door. Can he hold it? He wants to cut down. Watch out for the 4 car behind you. Looking, he's still got the run on the top. He's going to pull maybe even here down the back straight.
Yeah, that 4 car could be the problem for Edstrom, though, because if Edstrom messes up a corner here.
Cut under him here, and you can set him up for an inside pass into turn 1.
Yeah, good call.
There we go. We'll give him some space.
Contact. Don't pitch him too late. I don't think they touch, but I think they could have. But Edstrom now trying to make the pass here. We're coming around here to working lap 60. We'll start it in just a second. This will be our white flag lap for the first stage. Edstrom does make the pass.
Here off the corner.
Does Perkins make the pass? Or did we just... Here's the leader in the bottom of your screen, by the way. This will end the stage when the leader gets on around. They're just about to lap a couple cars. That won't happen here. And Edstrom's now pulled away. Perkins is good. Tanner Marr's back there. And in just a moment, there it is. Caution's out. End of stage 1. Well, 60 laps in the book, Teddy. I think we learned a few things. I think we learned maybe that drivers are not full of patience tonight, because there was probably some more moving and touching than I thought was going to happen in the first stage.
Yeah, that was, we only had 1 caution though. There was moments where we thought we were going to have others, but so far it's so good. Shout out Chris Carroll here, taking home the stage 1 win.
Yep. Well, let's run through your top 10 for the stage real quick. Pit stops are about to start here. Chris Carroll, Hunter Lagoons, Dalton Kilrow, Cody Gibson, Austin Edstrom, John Perkins, Tanner Marr, Justin Levine, TBB, and Brian Dees all will bring home points in this stage format. Let's watch pit stops here real quick. And this is going to be about everyone down pit road. I suspect we'll see 4 tires here, full of gas. I mean, sometimes you see drivers want to try different things here, but as you said, this track's pretty abrasive, Teddy. I'd be surprised if anyone doesn't take 4 tires.
Yeah, I'd be expecting 4 tires, full fuel. How long did we say stage 2 is tonight?
Same thing. So it's technically 60 laps. We'll end on 120. It'll be a little shorter due to the caution laps. Dalton Kilrow came around, by the way. Kilrow, well, he did what I thought he wouldn't do. Dalton Kilrow just took 2 tires.
That's why I was wondering, they've done 60 laps. We don't know what tire wear's like. It's going to be the most abusive on the right side tires. I guess now, knowing that there's going to be another stage break, now's the time to test that out.
There you go.
And set yourself up for that final stage.
Well, speaking of the next stage, before we do that, we want to thank tonight's race sponsor and the series sponsor for the Blazing Pedals ARCA League. That's the Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company. The Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company is a premier roofing contractor. They are a sister company to the Bruns Construction Enterprise. They specialize in commercial industrial roofing, and they are committed to accommodating the unique needs of each client and offering creative solutions to meet those needs. They are a team of individuals who work for the same common goals: professionalism, quality, and service. The services they offer include preventative maintenance, re-roofing, new construction, infrared scanners, green roof solutions, metal, retrofitting, emergency repair services, and more. Please visit www.oiroofing.com for more information. Again, that's www.oiroofing.com for more information. Thank you again to the Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company for sponsoring the race. Well, let's run it down. Your top 5. It's going to be Kilrow, Carroll, Lagoon, Gibson, and Wellman up in your top 5. And this is going to get exciting. We already get the caution's already over. Pace car is down. Let's go green flag racing once again in the state of Virginia.
Dalton gets out to a very nice jump there from the P1 position.
Boy, looks like that 2 wide racing on back is happening pretty quickly here. Remember, the stage ends at the end of 120, and lots of close battles here, Teddy.
Yeah, I got to remember later in the run, to how Dalton's tires are going to hold up, because remember, he did 2 rights only on in that stop. Oh, almost got in the wall. A couple of them there coming off of 2.
And then up front here, this is going to be Wellman. He's going to have Tanner Marr to the outside. Marr trying to hold his own. Back here is Butcher Benjamin in that Rick and Morty Pickle Rick car. He's trying to hold his own up there against Brian Zimmerman. And for the moment, we're starting that single file parade once again. Things moving along pretty well here. Up front, there's Dalton Kilrow. Chris Carroll's on back. Austin Edstrom again. The way we ended the first stage, we were going to begin the second, he is still trying to menace the back of John Perkins here. Or sorry, that's going to be Cody Gibson this time. But he's still trying that outside run from time to time.
It's going to be... Maybe he found something up there when in the first stage. And I really liked how he was setting up that pass there at the end of stage 1. Going a little high and then cutting down, getting the run off the corner. It seemed to work well for him. Perkins stuck here on the top. I don't know if the top's the place to be early in the run. I think at the...
Boy, I'm not sure Levine knew how close that was, and now Levine almost got a bump in the back from John Perkins. This is becoming a good old classic traffic jam here. Something you see out on the highway at much slower speeds. But I think we're going to start to work it out here. A couple...
Spin to the inside here for 4th.
Moments here. Yep, there's Edstrom getting on around Gibson. Austin Edstrom and Justin being teammates. By the way, Edstrom involved in one of our closer finishes we saw in a long time a couple weeks ago. Himself and his teammate were beating and banging around the final corner. And Levine ended up winning the race, beating a beating and banging. There is Colby Jackson kind of beating on the side door of the 10 and gets on around him and clears him barely. Now the 10's going to try to dig inside.
Oh, he's really close though.
Boy.
I think they're going to get away with it.
For now, at least. Yeah, that's...
Yikes.
By the way,
those are always really unnerving moments in the car, too. When you see someone move that late into a corner on you. It's terrifying. They made it work, though.
Yeah, and that's a justification to happen times. Well, I made it work. Like, no, let's not do that again. Like, I know it worked the first time. Ooh. Oh, boy. Wellman again. Up top there by Colby Jackson and moving on around. By the way, something I noticed here in the broadcast. Wellman is sliding. He got Colby Jackson. They're spinning, and caution will be out here at Martinsville. Oh, contact from Kleinschmidt. And let's get things moving, I guess. Wellman. Oh boy. Let up the gas.
Yikes. Yeah. There you go.
I thought he joined the drift competition for a second, I think, there.
Pace car's picking him up out of turn 2.
Yep. Let's watch the first bump here. This will be Jackson. He's going to get right there with Wellman. And I think Wellman's not happy. Watch this here. Oh, nope. Kleinschmidt's got some contact, and there you go.
That looked very similar to Matt Kenseth versus Joey Logano a few years ago.
yeah, it kind of did, didn't it? Just let me show you how I feel about that. Watch it again here. A bump, and then let me help out. I don't know. And listen, that's the problem with Martinsville sometimes, is that it's such a short track. It's difficult to drive. I think it looks easy from the up-head chopper cameras, just, to make those turns, but it's an exhausting track. You're never really getting a break here physically or mentally. And then something happens where someone bumps you, and it's hard to kind of keep your head together at times.
It really is. I will say, these long green flag, they had a nice opening run there where they went 50-plus laps, green flag. I don't know about you, Derrick, but short tracks, always constantly turning, not really getting a break. My right shoulder starts to hurt. So I don't know what these guys are going to experience, but the fatigue is real at short tracks.
Yeah, and the challenge is no matter what hurts, whether it's your shoulder, whether it's your arms, whether it's just a headache, whether it's just fatigue, or just mental, it doesn't matter. There's no time to fix it here. No,
there's not. Short.
That's time. By the way, Brian D's pitted. No surprise Kyle Wellman pitted. He probably going to check on that car, make sure there's no major damage done to it. But Well, we'll keep that in mind for the future. But yeah, maybe in this run we'll get an onboard the driver and we'll kind of just count the seconds of how long you have to kind of quote unquote breathe at a short track. It's not long. I'm going to guess it's less than probably 5 seconds per straightaway here. Maybe less than 4 seconds per straightaway. You're going to get here under green to relax. By the way, the lights in the pace car are already out. It is Kilrow, Carroll, Lagoon, Edstrom, and Gibson, your top 5. Again, to remind you, we're going to go green here in just a moment. We'll let Dalton Kilrow lead us around. Look at this back shot here. See the green flag up in the air. It's going to wave, and Dalton Kilrow's going to go.
Dalton gets another great jump. I'd be curious. Chris led the entire first stage, I believe.
Yep.
I'd be curious, and he seemed to have really good long run pace. He started to make a gap there those last 20 laps or so of the run. So I'm curious if he's more just kind of not so much racing Dalton, but he's more racing his own race, if you understand what I mean.
Do you think he's racing knowing Kilrow took 2 tires? Say, hey, if I just run my own race, eventually, oh, hold on, let's come back to that, because there's a big mess back there. That's Kleinschmidt, there's Jackson, there's other cars up top, still in this battle right here. TBB's up there. This is getting a little ugly out of the corners.
Jackson's still on the inside there. The old door bank down the straightaway. He's going to send it in.
Is that
here.
Wellman again?
I think he's driving up the track.
That's Maraska.
Maraska, oh yeah.
I was going to be more interested if that was Jackson.
Oh, Maraska gives him a little love back. All right, now these guys have swapped positions for the corner this time. Oh, door bank down the corner. You gentle guys, you got plenty of time to fix this after the race, but man, not right now.
No, they don't know that apparently. Now finally Maraska got away from Jackson. Jackson's now up top of Brian Dees. Now look at that behind. That's an interesting story. That's Kyle Wellman right behind Jackson. Oh boy, oh boy. And it just feels like everyone's kind of leaning on that Mountain Dew car, and I am curious what's going to happen here in a minute, because we saw what happened last time these two got together.
Stuck on the top too early in the run. We know it's not the best place to be.
Oh my God!
Man, someone needs to make these guys hold hands.
Oh,
after
there
the race.
it is.
Oh no!
And
Save it! Save it! Unspin him. They stuck.
Oh, there it is. That's posh.
Well, I mentioned the hold hands, but they got a kiss there. So, oh.
Boy.
Extracurriculars after the caution.
Yeah, this is.
Well, the Mountain Dew. Oh no. Well, the Mountain Dew car is starting to look like a beat up soda can.
Yeah, a little bit here.
Although,
let me give you an interesting quote real quick here. We'll see what comes of this. Kyle Wellman of 42 just said to Jackson, quote, "One day you're going to learn your place in this league." Take that for what you will. But yeah, there's. I'm guessing there's more than just a little bit of bad blood from this one race, because you don't say those kind of things after just a little bit of contact.
And short tracks are, oh man, yeah. So that off the corner, not a big deal. I think they just a normal racing incident, but and then here they just get stuck.
They just got stuck. Yeah, those two cars were stuck together, and that was the only way they were going to do that. And then they pulled apart, and as you said, the Mountain Dew car lost part of its front bumper. I was watching the pit entry here, and of course I would think Colby Jackson needs to come down and get that car looked at.
So I don't know how great the physics are in iRacing compared to real life, but years ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was here, lost the right front bumper to his car, and he ended up being the fastest car on track because he had unlimited cooling on the right front, so the tire never got hot, and he unlapped himself, and I think he would have won the race if he didn't have a late race miscue. So
maybe so.
I don't know if you can do that in iRacing, but
not as much. No, yeah, no, not as much. We're gonna come on around here a couple more times, and well, it's been for what was a very calm and quiet first stage. This second stage has had a little bit of a a heat to it, I think you want to say. And of course, there's Kyle Wellman on pit road. He'll get that car looked at as well. We'll see when oh, there he goes. See, he's going to pull off pit road.
A little bit of damage popped out there.
You almost kind of hope in some ways that more so than the car getting fixed, you're hoping almost that cool time at pit road kind of, you know, simmered things down a little bit here. There's Colby Jackson. He is going to be black flagged by race control, and I think that's going to be an EOL just for causing the wreck.
So he's going to line up directly
Actually,
behind.
I don't think it's an EOL. I think this is going to be deeper than an end of line. Let's check and see. That may be a drive-through or a stop on. We're trying to get confirmation for a second here. But green flag's back out. Oh, Dalton Kilroy kind of messed. Well, he messed with the start. He definitely kind of did not jump as normally predicted, which is okay. But up, look at second. There is a pass. That's Hunter Lagoons trying to get around Chris Carroll. On back is Perkins and Edstrom. Here comes that Mountain Dew car down pit road, getting down the speed. So watch and see what he does. Watch that pit timer. That'll kind of skip us, see what happens to him. But up front, Lagoon quickly is now behind Chris Carroll, and Carroll's going to try to run down Dalton Kilroy.
Seven looking inside of the KFC car. Let me ask you this, Derrick. Cheetos.
Okay.
There's a Cheeto next to a KFC. What kind of collaboration could we get? Could you have a Cheeto crusted chicken wing?
You could. Yeah, you definitely could do that. Just ground up the Cheetos, put it in your breading, and do it that way.
Oh,
yeah,
no, here's trouble.
Oh, boy. That drive-through penalty didn't stop this from happening. And Jackson kind of barely nicked. Well, I mean, you could argue that was an accident. This is a battle for the lead, by the way. There's almost a small nick there as well. This is Chris Carroll back around Dalton Kilroy. This will be a pass. Will put Carroll back to the front. And I begin to wonder if that two-tire call is going to start to kind of eventually show its wear, so to speak.
Yeah, we haven't really been able to see it yet because, well, they haven't been able to get
a couple of cautions.
Yeah. These guys putting a heck of a battle in here.
This is Gibson and Austin Edstrom. Edstrom again. Feels like every time we've seen Austin Edstrom tonight, he's been at the top of that lane trying to make something happen.
Yeah, he's making that top work. He's rolling it really well. He might give up this note, so he gets to run off the corner. He's able to pull even with them on entry. Got to be careful though. Force looking inside here. Oh, it's a little tight.
Yeah, this could turn into an awful choo-choo train for Austin Edstrom where just multiple cars keep passing by, nothing he could do about it. So he's got to be aware of this moment here. Don't let Tanner Marr get up under you. If he does, it could be Marr, it could be Zimmerman, it could be Levine, all getting on around here. And it does feel like he's stuck up top, Teddy.
Yeah, I think if he really wants to make this work, he's got to pinch the 7 lower in the corner. See how much of a gap he's given him. He's letting that 7 come up a little bit to Diamond. And if he pinches him a little closer to the curb and takes away that ability to run up the track, he'll get his run that he normally gets off the corner and leave the 7 down there. I think he's got to try to work that. It's a little early in the race to want to be that close to someone else, especially with everyone's favorite netcode being there. But yeah, he's rolling the top, and it's driving the people behind him nuts, I guarantee, because they're like, just figure it out, guys, and let's get on with it. The people in front of you are driving away.
Yeah, of the short tracks we go to on a typical NASCAR schedule, this is probably the one where it's bad to be up top, but it's not as bad, right? You go to other short tracks, you go to a Bristol. If we're at Bristol, that whole lane probably would have been on by already. You know, even at New Hampshire, a bit of a different track. You know, sometimes Richmond, that can happen as well. So Austin Edstrom holding his own here against Gibson and the group, kind of impressive to see. Eventually, I suspect the bottom lane will win out eventually, but I say that not being confident, honestly.
Austin almost had him cleared a couple laps ago into 1. Oh, here we go. Maybe he's going to get him here. No.
Edstrom's trying everything possible. I feel like Edstrom's trying to outbreak them in the corner, trying to get a better run, trying to make something happen.
Oh, yeah. He's so close to just being able to turn left on entry and just blocking it off. Be curious what kind of pace he's got once he's not battling someone. See if he can catch up to third place here. Look at the break.
By the way, I have to tell you, hold
blowing.
on there. 42 is sideways, guys. The 42 is sideways. There was more contact between him and Colby Jackson. Wellman just tried to bump into the back end of Jackson and got the burst. And if we went back about 15 seconds, watch this here. He tried to make a point and ended up just screwing up his own race. This is getting to the end of the line, Teddy, where now we're getting to where race control might need to step in and put a stop to this.
Yeah, that's we've seen a few egregious maneuvers here. Edstrom's able to finally complete the pass around the top, and he's not going to the bottom. He's staying there.
He seems to like that line, doesn't he? Yeah. I remember with the, I guess it's about 2 years old now. I recently introduced some of the new dynamic track surface features. That really does mean that as a driver, if you want to, you can help rubber in a new line. It will take a while if you're by yourself, but the more and more Edstrom runs that line, oh boy, the 7's way up top. He's going to get passed by Kel Wellman, possibly. Nope, he'll get back in line before Zimmerman. But if you want to be a little stubborn and you want to start to run a new line, eventually you could rubber that line in, Teddy. It will take a while. You would hope you have more friends helping you do it, but it is possible here to create a second groove. It'll just take a while.
That, and he's the only person running up there,
right.
So the track's still cooler. So he's rubbering in, and it's not going to be as hot as the other 19 trucks or cars running around the bottom of the track. So it's going to have still a little more grip. I can't tell. Looks like he's starting to pull away just a little bit from the street.
Yep. Speaking of cooler, it's not cooler on the track. The track temp has gone up about 4 degrees since the green flag. We're now up to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Now working about 9:30 p.m. virtual sim time. We're about 45 minutes into this race here. So while the lights are on in full effect, no more daytime in the sky. Not only the temperature's a little hotter, but the track's a little hotter than when we started.
Yeah, and that could be just from the cars going around and putting heat into the track.
Boy, look at that. That's the gap right now. We've been watching lots of battles across the track. Edstrom, we watched battle with that crew back there. We watched a little bit more contact with the 42 and the 7. But meanwhile, Chris Carroll is beginning to walk away now. 1.5 second gap here between himself and second place Dalton Kilroe. We'll note we're getting close to the end of the second stage. 120 is the magical number as we're starting 112. And so, Edstrom up in the wall.
Yeah, I saw him coming off the corner, and he looked a little higher than you would want to be. And unfortunately, it was true.
It was true indeed. Watch him again. He's now going to get down in the corner here, and I think we'll be okay this time. Yep, riding pretty well.
Recently, I think it was a couple seasons ago, iRacing put in a damage spotter, so you can basically you can hit a button, have it mapped to your wheel, and it'll ask your spotter if you have any damage, and then the spotter will give you a report. And I've had some wall hits where he's like, "Car looks fine," and I'm like, "Okay." So
if you say
maybe
so.
That's yeah, right. Maybe that's there we are. Maybe Austin's got the little extra crispy chicken, if you know what I mean, going on, but he seems to not have hurt his pace. He's still holding out front of this group here.
Now working at lap 116, coming to 117, a few laps left in the stage. And I wonder now, if we see Chris Carroll having that 2-second lead over Dalton Kilroe, a lot of drivers will be taking note. If you saw Kilroe now back 2 seconds on Carroll, would it kill your ambitions to try a 2-tire call after seeing it didn't work out that well for Kilroe?
I can't remember. Was Dalton in P2 when they came into the pits?
I believe so. Your P3 possibly, yeah, but definitely top 5.
Okay, so he's held his position at least.
Right.
So he really had nothing to lose, and like I said earlier, this would be the stage to try this. He got out there, got up to a lap or two, and or more than 2. But, okay,
yeah,
so
P3 before that last one, yeah.
Okay, but right now 27s. 27 cars hitting me in the fields because I was a big Dale Jarrett fan growing up. Every time I see it, I want to think it's an 88 car, but it's not. So But yeah,
Well,
coming, what we got, 2-3 laps to go here.
yeah, pretty close ending. And luckily for Kyle Wellman, we're getting close to the end. Otherwise, he might get lapped. Here's a pass by this Brian Dees getting around Ty Marasco. This is going to be a battle back for P12, P13. And they seem to be good here. Now working in lap 119 this time by when Chris Carroll takes the the line here to be the white flag. So 1.5 laps to pass Kyle Wellman if he wants to. He'll get the white flag for stage 2 this time by. I think Wellman will be okay here. I don't think he'll get lapped, and he's hoping he doesn't get lapped. Wellman, of course, well behind the field after that contact he had with Colby, where he was the only person. Oh, the 97 just wiggled through the corner, but he's going to be okay. Come around here. This will end stage 2 once the caution comes out. There it is.
There it is. A little bit of a bottleneck here coming out of the corner, but it looks like they all saved everything.
Into stage 2, top 10, Carroll, Kilroe, Lagoon, Edstrom, Marr, Gibson, Zimmerman, Levine, Perkins, and TBB is how they'll line up here. So there you go. Barton and the flagman vigorously waving that caution flag and let everyone know. Pits are already open, I believe. Let's take a look. No, they did not. Yeah, they are. That red light fooled me. I thought that red light meant they were going to be closed, but nope. Here we are down pit road. And so now this time by, I'm going to predict Kilroe does not do that 2-tire stop again.
I would expect 4 tires for everybody here, knowing that the final run's going to be upwards of 175 laps by the time we get back to green.
Yeah, roughly that. Yep. So you see this on your timing tower on the left side. Everyone down pit road.
Jack's up on the left side here for our leader. Down. Let's see. Does the 41 get the run? No,
he tried. He tried. Ty Barasco 2 tires in the back of the field. That'll be interesting. And boy, with the way that Kilroe shot out of there for a second, I got nervous that he tried it again. But no, pit stop times tell us that's not the case. And 4 tires for most of the field. Ty Marasco a little shorter on the time, so 2 tires for him. But everyone else, 4 tires and gas.
Is he going for a pun there with the DQ and the disqualified?
It has to do with some stories behind some previous league races that he wasn't happy with, and maybe yeah. Yep. I'd say I called probably the first few races of this league this season, and I just thought it was a Dairy Queen car. I didn't catch the word disqualified. I was like, oh, that is a different meaning. So yeah, we talked to him one week, and he told the story about just having some bad races and not being happy with some of the calls that were made. And so he kind of, took that and bottled it up and made it into a paint and kind of tried to laugh at himself about it and let it go. Well, here we go now. This is the first time in many laps where we're going to see a battle between these front 2 cars on the same tires. Carroll to the inside, Kilroe to the outside, Lagoons and others on back. So now, Teddy, we buck win for the longest part of the race. As a driver, I hope you got a sip of water right there into that caution, because this could be a long, long run here.
I don't have water, but I do have a poppy, so we're good.
There you go. All right, well, let's get started. Let's get Chris Carroll on around out of turn 4. They'll wave the green flag, and he'll step on the gas pedal. Oh boy, look at Lagoon.
Oh, 4-car missed.
He certainly did, and up by the field, everyone's going to be okay here. Oh, Levine in the back of the 7. They're going to work it out okay. Perkins, yeah, got inside, and Perkins now trying to make a pass. And we've lined it up for the moment here. Of note, by the way, to that caution, Austin Edstrom and Kyle Wellman both went a lap down due to damage repairs, so they're now 1 lap down on your timing tower. But up front here, this is getting a little spicy. Now it's Trevor Harmon to the inside of TBB. Up front, it is Marasco getting around Brian Zimmerman. But I think we've calmed down for the second.
Yeah, you've got restarts. Oh, looks like the Mountain Dew car's got the front bumper repaired. But guess who's right there?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he found his friend, if you want to use that term.
Nope.
And, that does happen sometimes in a race, Teddy. Well, let's watch this pass first here by the 60 car getting around Trevor Harmon. But sometimes that does happen. That happens in a race, right? Or once you have a moment with someone and you're kind of annoyed with them and you've made contact, you're frustrated. Somehow that person never gets away, right? Sometimes no matter what you do, whether it's pits, whether it's anything, you seem to end up next to that person.
Yeah, we've seen it in the real world with Ricky Stenhouse and Carson Hocevar.
Or Carson Hocevar and everybody.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. Something I want to point out here, the driver of the KFC car, who is that, Edstrom?
That is Austin Edstrom, yep.
He is... How did he get a lap down? Do we know?
I think we got some damage repairs under the caution, I'm guessing. You're right. He was a long pit stop, so either that or you had a penalty for something I didn't catch, because you're right. Prior to the caution, he was not a lap down. Yeah, so himself and that 42 at Wellman are kind of battling for the lucky dog in case another caution comes out. But track-wise, Edstrom is well ahead, and Kyle Wellman's in the back of that camera shot right there.
That's a good point. We know Wellman's got to get through his friend in order to get past Edstrom. So
yeah, and you have to think Colby Jackson's probably not that willing to, cut a break at this point.
You could say cut the cheese, but no, terrible joke, Ted. But yeah, it's a bummer. We did see that little wall bump from Edstrom coming off of a corner in that last run. I guess it did more damage than we thought it did, and he took the time to get it repaired. With the 170-plus lap run on the way.
Now, this battle right here is interesting. This is Justin Levine and Ty Marasco. And I can tell you lap by lap, Levine's faster by about a tenth, almost 0.2 of a second at times. I wonder how long Levine's going to let this go, because at Martinsville, time ticks away pretty fast here, and you can't sit back and wait forever. Sometimes you have to kind of make your own destiny, it feels
there
like.
There it is.
Oh,
At least he made his destiny. Here he comes. Remember, Marasco's on 2 tires this run, too, so maybe he's starting to feel it.
Here comes Perkins now on through. Next comes Butcher Benjamin, possibly coming on through. This could be a long run here for Ty Marasco. Watch again, Perkins now.
He dives it in there.
Here comes Butcher Benjamin. Can Marasco get in line? Yeah, yes.
All right, I got to ask, your favorite thing from Dairy Queen, Derrick?
I'm going to be honest with you. The food. And I don't mean the ice cream. I'm not being silly, but boy, they have some really great lunch food. Like the hot dogs and the burgers are pretty great from Dairy Queen. I know that's not what you're asking. I know you're talking more ice cream, but the food. If you live near a Dairy Queen that also serves food, it's not bad fast food. It's actually pretty decent. As far as my favorite Dairy Queen ice cream, I mean, you have to go some kind of, maybe like the Oreo Blizzard or the Reese's Pieces Blizzard, if they still have that. Because Reese's Pieces are amazing.
Yes, they are. I'm more of a s'mores fan. I grew up drinking the blue raspberry freezy that they have. Mm-hmm. And now I've transitioned fully to ice cream. So
there you go.
Oh, Levine into the wall there. I think. Marasco. Sorry.
Marasco to the wall there, but it was kind of interesting because he had D's in front of him and he had Austin Edstrom right behind him, and that could have been kind of scary, but always worked out here. Edstrom's just going to kind of ride on through, and right now, if you're Austin Edstrom, the best thing you can do is ride. There's no point in getting involved in too many battles and burning up your equipment, because until the caution comes out, if one does come out, unless you're going to get around here and pass the whole field and kind of get your lap back the old-fashioned way, there's not much to do here.
I think our 2 best friends are side by side.
They're definitely nose to tail right here. Yep, they are. There's Kyle Wellman just up ahead of Colby Jackson here, and I think this will be okay. Most of the aggression so far has been the other way. So I think, assuming Wellman made a clean pass, I think this will be okay. I don't think Colby's going to do anything dumb. And frankly, it would be dumb at this point, because now you have to know that eyes are on you. Both of you, these drivers need to know that. Whether it's race control, the broadcast obviously is now aware of it. So, now there'll be proof of it, quote unquote. But I'm hoping both these guys have kind of taken that time and, simmered down.
It looks like they may have settled their differences for now. It'll be probably a nice little chat after the race.
Or maybe not a nice little chat after the race,
True. Yeah, we never. I hope it's a good little chat for both of them. But yeah, you don't really want to make it worse for yourself in the race. You've already, especially in Colby's position, he already got the penalty. You had to do a drive-through. He went a lap down for that because it was under green. He looks to be back on the lead lap now. And yeah, just keep moving along. You've still got 154, 155 laps to go. Once he gets that damage repaired, I believe he qualified pretty well, so he's got some pace in there. Oh no.
What?
Oh, well.
Was that?
It is. What?
Have seen a lot of things and called a lot of things in iRacing. That's gotta be a first. I'm
hoping that was a
hardware
failure.
That is so weird. He's already disconnected.
Yeah, you could see he hit the brakes into the corner and then it just moved left. Thankfully there's the pit wall there to keep him from going through the track.
I would be curious if we can maybe see a couple replays. I don't think that was a hardware failure. I think that, I don't know, maybe something came up where he just either decided he was done racing, or watch this here. I mean, here's the in-car look. He goes down pit road. I have a weird theory that I don't know if I want to put out in ether, Teddy, which is that I don't think that pit stop was intentional. I think he intended to dig that corner a little bit, and maybe he got mad. He ended up on pit road, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't. There's no way we're going to prove that, which is a good news for Colby Jackson. We can't really prove that, but I think what happened was once he got on the pit road and smacked the wall, he probably tore that car up, and then had definitely a long penalty for that excessive speeding. But his night is over. He's done. This is the second time this week, or I've been caught speechless by some weird things in iRacing. I've never seen a car down pit road that abruptly, that fast, and yeesh.
Yeah, we'll let the fans have their own theories about that one. By the way, I just want to point out Hunter Lagoons. He's in P2 now. Got around Dalton, I believe. Unless I missed that earlier.
No, that sounds right. Yeah, we've been away from this battle. I think he's got around Dalton Kilroe, and Chris Carroll has again opened up here about a 1 second lead on the field here, and now Carroll kind of gets to begin that task of lapping cars again. And this is where it always gets a little scary.
Yeah, it seems like the lap car's being pretty predictable, though. He's staying high in the corners. He's not doing anything weird. You like that when you're a leader.
Yeah.
Oh.
A little slow for the lap car, but that's okay. And I want to talk to you about that as well. Coming from your road course experience, it's very different, I think, in how I want to say lapped cars behave in ovals and roads, right? In road course racing, you would agree, we teach people be predictable. Run your line, and the leader will pass you. If they have the speed, they'll pass you. On ovals, though, drivers are very almost, that's their desires to kind of quote-unquote let you by. It is very different and probably very just confusing between the two, because letting someone by doesn't always go as well as you want it to.
Yes. And coming from the roadside, when you do multi-class racing, you've got the faster class cars that are just coming left and right and scares the living daylights out of you. In oval, when you come up on a lapper, if they're not a lap down yet, they're fighting to not go a lap down too. So there's that factor as well. And it can just irritate you as a leader if you can't figure out a way around them, especially at Martinsville. It's a one-lane track. If you're nose to tail with them, you could be behind them 10, 15 laps before you figure a way around them. And you're just praying, just get out of the way, you're holding me up. But they're not doing anything wrong. So I understand it.
And sometimes their idea of quote-unquote letting you by isn't always the lane you want, the correct line, the right line, and it can often end up sometimes slowing you down more when they try to quote unquote let you by.
Yeah, I mean they could lift early in a corner thinking that they're out of the way, but it's your line on entry, or they might see you behind them. You're setting up to go around on the outside, but they're like, oh, I better give them the bottom. Last second they move high, and now they're in your way. So it's more difficult to telegraph in the oval than it is on road. Like on a road, you can just kind of hang off one way or the other down a straight or into a corner. Where oval, it happens so quickly, especially at Martinsville. The straightaways, we're thinking 4 or 5 seconds long. You don't have much time to get out of the way.
Well, here they go around this car. This car's a lap down, and yeah, he's doing a good job. He's kind of lifting, staying high in the corners, which at Martinsville is well off the groove. Perkins on through, TBB's on through, Brian D's now on through, and there we go. We're all around the 83 who crushes the wall. Yeah. Yeesh.
It's okay, Will. It's okay. You were doing the right thing. It's all that.
You were, yep. William Brute in the car there in the 83 we're looking at. Meanwhile, Levine on others. This is the battle back for P7. They're about 7.5 seconds off the lead. They're just trying to get in a line and run here. But 7.5 seconds is, I mean, that's nearly, a third of a lap at Martinsville. So they'll have a lot of ground to make up here. Not missing the up front. Chris Carroll still holds a massive lead and is growing over Hunter Lagoon, about 1.7 seconds at this time. So not missing anything up front there. And Perkins is trying to find a way up to Levine. TBB needs to find a way up through the field. He came into tonight 52 points off of Dalton Kilrow in championship points. Right now he's behind Kilrow by about 6 spots. So he needs to get aggressive here.
And just to jump back to the Dairy Queen thing, our producer Dustin, big fan of the cherry dilly bar and the cherry dipped cone. So I believe Dustin, cherry guy.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, it's 97 is a high in Portland, Oregon today. Ice cream sounds amazing right now. And maybe I'll just leave you to the broadcast, and I'll go get some ice cream, some Cold Stone. I'll be back in about a half hour or so.
I don't know if you want to leave me alone, but no, I actually live within 5 minutes of a Derrick. It's very deep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very beneficial, but also very dangerous.
I live next to a Cold Stone and other great, also dangerous places to visit. Boy, speaking of dangerous, it's gotten pretty not dangerous, pretty calm, I guess is a better way to say that right now, because everything's kind of single filed out. Things are pretty chill here. Levine running around. He's got Perkins. TBB's trying to close that gap. Not quite there yet, but despite all the beating and banging and calamity we have between the 42 and then the Mountain Dew machine, I think now we're finally calmed down and sort of in our groove.
Yeah, it looks like these guys might be settled in for another 132 laps. Be curious to see how tire management's going with everybody. We don't know who's all pushing, who's all just hanging out. Curious to see, has Edstrom really made up any ground? Oh, tight there.
Buddy.
3 on the 5.
Yeah, lots of questions. The other question I have, and we have a couple drivers in this league who are great at fuel saving. I wonder if some of them are laying back and doing that. One of those being Dalton Kilrow, typically known for his fuel saving, and how it works out. Oh, okay. Well, there's a piece of ice cream, a little bit of cool.
Dilly.
There's a dilly. In that moment.
I could talk about ice cream all night.
Oh, hey, speaking of Austin Edstrom, you pulled that name out. He was just down pit road again.
Oh, no.
I think this is going to be a black flag by race control. I'm not sure. Let's find out in a moment and see what may happen to him, if anything. But he's now down here.
Is that more damage on the right side?
Yeah, he might have some more damage. You're right, because I'm being told he got to pit road and then went ahead and had the Irish tow service bring him down to his pit stall. So I don't know.
Chris Carroll has stretched his legs here. He's up another 1.5 seconds since we looked at him last.
Guess what happened to Austin Edstrom? Let's watch here. Comes up off the corner, does okay, gets down pit road, and I don't know. Maybe we'll try and get a word with Austin Edstrom soon, see if we can figure out what happened there. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm lost. I don't know what would cause you to do that. Yeah, Chris is just out here having a nice Sunday evening drive.
Yeah, that's a weird moment here, and I was trying to look, and I mean, Austin Essam's already went ahead, and if he was available in the Blazing Pedals Discord earlier, is not available now. So well, maybe we'll see if we can get a word with him privately and find out what happened. But Chris Carroll, you're right, and he's walked away now. Dog walk in the field, 2.5 seconds up here, and so be interesting to see here if maybe some people are trying to fuel save, because I mean, pulling a 2.5 second gap at Martinsville, either A, you are just great at this track, which Carroll is a very talented driver, or B, they're outplaying you the long game with the fuel saving and tire saving. I'm not sure which is true. It could be a little bit of both, in fact. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, wasn't able to do any calculations on fuel, but do they need to stop again?
Oh, 100%. We'll need to stop again for sure, because in the Blazing Pedals ARCA League, the fuel tanks are limited to 75% gas. So, yeah, we'll need to figure that out. So let's do this. We were wondering if some people were fuel saving or how they're driving these corners. Let's do this. We're going to sit back for a second. We're going to take a moment and let you sit back on Green Flag TV and feel the noise at Martinsville. Hope you enjoyed the sights and sounds of Martinsville from the driver's point of view. And Teddy, those are the camera views you kind of get every week when you're racing inside the cars. And does it feel any different when you kind of get to see it, that view, versus when you're driving yourself?
It's a different perspective. You're more so with that. I'm more so just listening and taking everything in. Where when you're driving, you're looking ahead of you. You've got your brake inputs, so it's nice to kind of sit back and not have to sweat it out for a little bit.
Well, speaking of sweating it out, there's, I was going to say, a battle happened between Mar and Kilrow, and Mar just went ahead and used the old chrome horn. The bumper, hold on. Kilrow chops Mar. How do they save that? I don't know. They come up out of the corner. They're okay out of 2. And Mar just said, hey, just so you know, I'm not going to brake next time. So, and like, Kilrow says, I gave you room, but Mar doesn't think so.
Oh, man. Mar gave him a little bump there in the corner. It's like, hey, remember me? And entering the next corner. Got a little loose on entry and good save. Let's see if he gathers it back up and takes another run at it.
Yeah, a good run by both. I mean, a good save by both, but very interesting. And if I watch this again here, and then we'll come back to a point. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Kilrow says he gave him room, but I don't know what room he thinks he gave. I mean, I think only so far down Mark could go.
Yeah, it's just wide enough for a car's width, but also a little bit of a late move there, maybe by Mar. I'd have to look from a different angle to see if he was alongside of him or not.
Yeah, that's a pretty big move down the track there, Dalton Kilrow.
Yeah. That's I don't know how to rule on that one. But he's caught back up to him. Round 2.
Yeah, last stage it was Wellman and Jackson. This stage, could it be Mar and Kilrow? And I find it interesting, as I know these guys race together multiple nights. It's just, hold on. Let's come back here. Watch this. Here it comes again. Kilrow gives more room. Oh, Mar. Woo. Hello.
No questions on this one.
Was that thing about a 2-minute penalty earlier you talked about? We're getting closer and closer to that kind of call.
Yeah, that was, he needs a WWE sponsorship. That was a little bit of a body.
A lot of bodies. Yeah, here's another moment right here. This is Marasco, who you saw the tires smoke there a little bit. Not sure that may have just been a wall contact, but Brian Dees was trying to make the pass and he backs out of it. And sometimes as a driver, when you see a driver in front of you make a mistake, there's 2 things you can do, right? You can either try to capitalize on it and kind of speed on through and hope it works out, or it can kind of, I guess, spook you, right? And make you, hey, let me back up a second. This guy might not be having a good time. Let me back up and give him some space.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to use your head. Oh, 28 got a little loose on entry there. Let's see.
And I find this interesting because, I mean, we're not that deep into this run, all things considered.
But it is the most laps they've had to run under green yet.
That's true. I was just trying to math that out, and you beat me to it. You're right. I mean, we're now approaching probably 75 laps under green, so this is probably further than they've pushed these cars so far.
Be curious when the pit window is going to open up.
Yeah. I would suspect gas-wise, we're not far from it opening. And speaking of an opening, Justin Levine's looking for one right there. Did not quite get the way he wanted to, but that'd be Brian Zimmerman up front. I mean, we'll see, who wants to come in early, who wants to do the undercut, who wants to kind of wait this out and hope for the good old traditional Martinsville caution. I don't know. I suspect probably, I would think, I mean, obviously we know we can run 60 laps. We know we now run 75, so we're not that far from that window definitely being open. It's just a matter of when do you want to make make that call. Look at this, by the way, in the corners here. Brian Zimmerman, that's down to the 3rd gear. So what this does for him, Teddy, maybe you can explain it better as a driver, it gives him a better launch out of the corner.
It's also going to give him better rotation through the center. But the downside is going to be he's going to destroy his rear tire.
Well, isn't there also the other downside of your engine temps, right?
Also, that's true. But he's got nobody in front of him, right? So he doesn't need to worry about engine temps at the moment. The 5's making a pit stop.
There you asked and answered. Levine says now right there, the pit window's open. Levine, the first one in this run to come down pit road, basically right at 97 to go. He may have just honestly, and I keep leaning back on your road course experience, and I keep thinking these moments. And sometimes as a road course driver, you don't pit when the pit window's open. You pit if you think that you're just having a hard time with the traffic in front of you.
Yeah, if so, I would assume he can make it to the end from here. So maybe this is the very opening of the pit opening. Here's another car coming down pit road, 10 car. I'm going to call him TB squared. TB
squared, that's a new one. I like
sure.
that, yeah.
But, yep, and then another one here. So this must be the opening. And, you know, back to the road course thing, you can do the undercut, right? You can, if you're stuck behind somebody, maybe you pit before them, you come out, a couple of laps different, fresh tires, you're able to run a couple of heaters, and you just jump them based off of lap time. But you do go a lap down under green flag pit stops here, maybe two. So you run that risk if a caution were to come out now. You're going to go a couple laps down, you're going to be stuck.
We'll make a note just for the purpose of the broadcast. Have reached out to Austin Edstrom to get comment. No comment received yet, so no idea what may have happened there. We'll see if we can figure that out. Edstrom, one of the few cars now out of tonight's race. So I believe Mike Massengill has called tonight as Colby Jackson. So Edstrom, I guess, not technically out of the race. By the way, Edstrom is still sitting on pit road, so I guess he could come back in, but I mean, he's now almost 13 minutes deep into that pit stop. So yeah, I don't know.
13 minutes, about 3 laps a minute. So you would be 39 laps down if my math's correct.
Oh, look at that commentator math right there. That's good. That's good.
40. Okay, I was close. All right.
Hey, listen, for commentator math, 1 lap off isn't that bad, actually. We'll take that any day of the week. Brian Zimmerman's up off of pit road. Cody Gibson, you saw him coming down pit road. By the way, here's something that's very difficult that we don't talk about enough. Green flag pit stops, because right now, pit road speed is 35 miles an hour. Now, on your daily driver car, you know, going to school, to work, wherever you're going, you know, that's still a little slow, but not that bad. But when these guys are going, you know, 100 and some miles an hour down the straightaways, 35 feels like you're crawling.
Yeah, it really does.
It's almost hard to maintain that, right?
It is, and you know and the worst part is you can see out of your right side cars going past you at pace. So, and it almost forces you to want to speed a little bit, but you have to resist the urge, especially with Martinsville. It's such a slow pit road, and it looks like everybody here has to stay to the right until you get within a certain number of pit boxes.
Pretty close here, yeah.
And also you have to pit on a curve. Well done, Hunter. Didn't miss his box. That's a tough one.
And in fact, you talked about it being so difficult on pit road. In fact, for most drivers will tell you, coming down pit road, if you even kind of like touch the gas pedal, you're probably over the 35. You almost can't even touch the gas down pit road here.
Be curious
right.
what. So, let's see. The 5 car was the first one to pit. So let's see if Justin can unlap himself before Chris.
The interesting thing about this is that it's not really a tire stop advantage right now. I mean, right there he is behind the 97 and Carroll. I mean, right now, last time by, Levine was a 19.645. Carroll's at a 20.16. So it's about half a second. Oh, there's Carroll on downs. Never mind on that topic. Ooh, wow. So it's about a half a second fall off here in the tires.
Yeah, and I would imagine they're not putting 4 on.
That would make sense, yeah. We can see some of the pit times and timing and scoring. I mean, right now, Justin Levine was total a delta 43 seconds on pit road. I would have to look. That would imply to me possibly 4 tires. I would be surprised if that's not. Let's take a look here and see some of our deltas. You see on the right side of your screen, there's Tanner Marr, 14.3 second stop. Means he did 4 tires.
I was gonna say, it looks like a
there's your pit stop times, and you're on your left side timing tower now. So let's see, Justin Levine, 11.3. I don't know. It's not typically 14 seconds to 4 tire stops, so maybe not.
It's possible he only took 2 rights. Which,
yeah, I'll see if we can get confirmation of that. Give me a second here. Ooh. Can confirm you are correct. Good call, Teddy. Right side's only for Justin Levine. So that's interesting. That means it's only half a second for him. But I can tell you other drivers definitely did more. Look at some of the 14-second stops. Lagoon, did a 14-second. That would have been a 2-tire stop. So let's see what happens here as more and more drivers come down. Now, Dalton Kilwell, this man is known for fuel saving in every ARCA car race he runs. It's sort of one of his gigs. He's lapped the whole field here, Teddy. Now, the downside for Kilrow, well, actually, I'll ask you, walk me through the positives and negatives of running this thing dry. What's the positives first off?
Well, he's waiting for a caution. That's what he wants. Easy. It makes this race easy peasy for him. If a caution comes out, he'd come down pit road all by himself. Everybody else is already pitted. They're going to stay out to get the wave around. They'll get their lap back that way. But him staying out this long is going to keep everybody a lap down. The downside is he's going to lose a bunch of time. Fresh tires. Now that means he's going to have fresher tires for the end of the race. We know he was sliding back from P2 there at the end. He and the 4-car were having that little battle before the 4-car pitted. So be curious to see how it works out for him. Because I don't know. I'm curious how long he plans on staying out too.
Yeah, and of course the other positive, I think that he may not get tires in this stop, but the longer he stays out, the shorter that last pit stop needs to be, right?
Correct.
Because if he's just doing gas only, it'll just be less gas needed in that car, you would think.
I would think that is true. But my only question, we've seen Mark Kalin do this on Wednesdays, if he's not going to put tires on it, he's going to lose a bunch of time compared to everybody who has put tires on it. So, looks like he's making his move to the pits now.
There you go. That answered the question. It's going to be right around lap 223, 224 for Dalton Kilrow. Had everyone except for basically Ty Marasco's going to come down. That was the other car that was not lapped yet, so that was going to be those two coming down together. So now a bunch of that lap down markers on the board will start to fall off here pretty quickly. Let's watch Chris Carroll. This will be basically your leader when all the cycles all done on the track. So you're seeing the two different leaders on the circuit here. Austin Esther, by the way, that went from bad to worse because while I was sitting on pit road, the motor expired. So he is definitely now done for the evening. And Chris Carroll's going to come on around here. This will be the, this won't be the battle because Carroll's already up ahead. Look at that on your timing board on the top left. Some more pit stop times on the right. Klein-Schmidt and Marasco, both 4 tires. So now here we are, now 70-some laps to go, Teddy. The battle's on. Here's Carroll trying now to get around Ty Marasco. And this is going to be interesting. Only one car left to pit, which is Bruton, the 83. And he's now pitted. So we're done with pit cycles here. This is now going to be just a race to the finish with a bit of contact.
Oh, yeah, leader. Be careful there. All right, you got by him. Head down, focus forward. You're probably a little irritated now. Just take a deep breath. Get back in your marks. Marasco's not going away, though. He's kind of hanging out with them here.
He's definitely trying, isn't he? He's trying to get on around here. Now, remember, that pass right there for Marasco, the reason why it's important for Marasco is that is putting Marasco a lap down. So Marasco right now would love to get his lap back. He does not want to be stuck here. He doesn't want to have to wait for the lucky dog. And Marasco would love to get back around and just be on the lead lap here. Carroll, of course, wants no part of it. Any car that he can put a lap down, he'd love to keep them there. Just in case whatever happens later. Here's the 83 coming on back on pit road. Here's Tanner Marr. Here's Cody Gibson. This is the battle for P4 and P5. Watch this here. This is how Marr got the pass, by the way, Ted.
Yeah, it looks like the 7 just overcooked it into the corner. And Marr just says thank you very much and moves on.
Well, moving on we are as well because the laps are counting down. Now 71 to go. Carroll still just kind of racing Ty Marasco and kind of trying to keep him a lap down. They're both on around here. After the pit stops, Hunter Lagoon is now 4 seconds back to Chris Carroll. Levine's back there, as is Tanner Marr, Cody Gibson, Zimmerman, and Kilrow. And a couple more still on the lead lap. Here we go back to the field. This is P8, P9, Teddy. And Perkins is someone we've seen battling pretty hard all night long.
Yeah, a couple of bumps there to TV squared, saying, "Hey, here I am. Get a move on, or I'm gonna move." Um, yeah, but yeah, Mr. Perkins is, he falls into that food category again. There's a restaurant chain called Perkins, my dad's favorite. So shout out to them. He's a big fan of the Grand Slam breakfast. So
Okay, first off, the Grand Slam breakfast is Denny's.
oh well, never mind.
Second off, are you so polite that you just called him Mr. Perkins? Like,
I
was he
did,
like
yes.
was he like your 8th grade math teacher, or how did you come up with Mr. Perkins?
I don't know. Sometimes I just put a Mr. or a Sir there in front of people. It just kind of slipped, so I apologize.
Well, Mr. Perkins is trying to be polite and not bump into the back of that Rick and Morty car, and trying to make the move here, trying to find his way in. But being very polite and very patient is John Perkins. Maybe a little bump here and there, but I mean, compared to some of the battles we've seen tonight, compared I guess to Martin, Kilroe, to Jackson, and Wellman, this seems like a pretty gentle battle so far.
Yeah, other than a couple little taps that we've seen, everything's been pretty civilized here.
Yeah. Dustin, Ollis, our producer, has given John Perkins a new nickname there, Lord Sir Perkins the Great. See how he feels about that post race, see if he likes it or not. But boy, it's been a great night of racing. Only a couple of cautions so far here at Martinsville. Glad you're along with us. Dustin Ollis pushing the buttons down to booth. Ted Lowendick and color commentary. I'm Derrick Watson. Happy here with us here live on Green Flag TV for the Blazing Pedals ARCA League. And right now it is the Chris Carroll show. He's now up by about 3.8 seconds last time by. But look at that Twitter. I'm sorry, X. I got to get it right. X. The only Teddy L. I like that name. That's a unique username. I wish I was that creative.
I forget how I got the inspiration for that, but it's been that way since I was in college. So it's been there. I haven't changed it. I've looked it up. My dad's a fan of the Magnificent Seven, not the Grand Slam breakfast. So yeah, I knew it had an interesting name. But yeah, the little bump there.
Ooh, hold on, that's Mr. Perkins not making the pass here. Now you got me doing it. He just made the pass on Butcher Benjamin. That took a while, but again, the patience shown by all these drivers here. And then now got another driver, and Nicholas Moody now involved in this battle as well. This is the battle on, well, for 8th and 9th, that is for Perkins and Butcher Benjamin. Nicholas Moody is not technically involved in this battle, but he's still there, making his presence felt nonetheless.
And meanwhile, we've got Chris Carroll out here just minding his P's and Q's. He's got 59 more laps to get it done.
By the way, I can make a note that Chris Carroll and Ty Marasco, that battle is no more. Marasco has gotten back on by and gotten that lap back.
That moves Brian Dees into the lucky dog spot.
Certainly does. Well, if you're enjoying this race, we hope you stick around to Green Flag TV all week long. 7 nights of racing is what's going to happen here. But let's watch this first off before I get into our schedule. Here's going to be Marasco. It's going to kind of peak high, and he's going to probably do the undercut right about here. And this makes the pass. Carroll says, hey, go on by. Like, I'm the leader here. Let's not let anything happen that's going to affect my race. So he just let him on go. And around he went. But 7 nights of racing here on Green Flag TV. We'll walk you through a bit of it. So tonight, here we are at Martinsville. Meanwhile, Nolan Rimple is over on the For the Boys Racing League at Kansas in the car tomorrow. Tomorrow night, the High Tide Racing League, round 2 of the playoffs at Road America for the road course there. Nolan Rimple, Austin Edstrom on the call. The OM SRL Cup Series, Xfinity Series, goes to Phoenix Raceway Tuesday night. Wednesday's a triple header. The Global IndyCar Series goes to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The Beer League will be back in those Super Formula Lights. And then, of course, Ted Lowendick and the rest of the drivers in the Premier Sim Racing League will be at Richmond Wednesday night. Thursday nights, I'll be back with you. The Average Joe's Sim Racing League, that Cup Series is out Richmond as well. The Bolt Racing League, Nolan Rimple's on the call Friday night at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then Saturday, a doubleheader. Velocity Online Racing, that IndyCar Series goes to New Hampshire. That's Lucas Moody and Daniel Bouchard on the call. And then we'll wrap it up also with a brand new FTR Endurance 6-hour race at The Bend. myself, Nolan Ripple, Austin Edstrom, Finn Achini, and others on the call. And then the Sim Racing Association starts their new Gen 4 League at Daytona. 7 nights of racing, lots of racing, over 40 broadcasts on the channel this month. It's a busy, busy month here, and it's a busy night as well for Tanner Marr. He now wants around Justin Levine, and this would be for P4 and P5. So this is a nice battle happening right here, and we saw Marr get a little aggressive with kill roll earlier. Do you think he does it again?
I don't know. And also, I believe this is for P3 and P4. He's looking inside.
And this is P3, P4. You're right about that. And was looking inside, maybe a little bit more patient. I felt like last time I saw this, he kind of already gave the bumper a little bit, but
that's true.
Watch him kind of peppering the throttle here.
Put it on a t-shirt. Throttle.
It's a long night apparently for all of us here.
Oh man. You know, back when I went to Martinsville in the real world, as a fan, he got him a little bit there. They didn't have lights, so we never had the night race. This was back in the. Oh, now he's really using the bumper here to.
Yeah, the lights. I guess now a more recent addition. I mean, I want to say 2017, 2018, I believe, is when those were added in. And and the awful time frame to use it was definitely pre-COVID, which feels like in some days forever ago now we dealt with that. But yeah, it's a pretty new addition here. So nighttime racing at Martinsville is just exciting. It kind of matched that feel like the Bristol night race, and how much more wild it feels when you see everything under the lights. And Tanner Marr, under the lights, at least where the headlights would be in that car, he is trying to use every bit of that car to make it pass right here. I mean, look at that. He's trying really hard not to be too aggressive. At Martinsville, you have to bump a little bit, some would say, but Marr's trying not to be too overly aggressive here. Also on your screen in the bottom right, this is a battle. This is Cody Gibson and Dalton Kilroe. This is the battle right now for 5th and 6th on the track. Kilroe is now on by Cody Gibson. Remember, Kilroe, currently your points leader. Would love to have a great night. Had a little bit of issue with the car in the top left of your screen. But those guys are far apart on back to the field. There's Harmon, there's Zimmerman, there's Perkins, and more.
This is a nice little cluster, as Darrell Waltrip would call it.
Yeah.
I would like to point out the 4 car. What is that helmet?
We'd have to see again if we can get a shot of that helmet for the 4
Can
car.
we go back to the.
I know the 10 car. The 10 car has a SpongeBob helmet. I know that. I don't know what the 4 car has.
It looks like it might be his face.
Oh yeah, look at it. You can see. I don't know. Looks like a weird pattern you could kind of see there. And again, I know if we could get shot in car, the 10 car has the SpongeBob helmet. That's kind of weird. The first time you see it, it's kind of throws you off a little bit here.
I guess maybe my eyes are just seeing. I don't know. I'm seeing someone's face staring back at me. So.
Deep thoughts with Ted Lowendick.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway. But I was going to point out, if that's what he's seeing in the mirror, I too would be a little scared when he gets that close. So, I don't know. Anyway, back to the
still happening here.
Go ahead. The battle that we were talking about. Nope, I'm just seeing stuff then. All right. I have been bamboozled.
Fair enough. Well, the battle's still happening here. 40-ish laps to go on the track. This race is coming to a quick end here. I mean, at 40 laps, at 3 laps a minute, we're only talking about maybe, 15 minutes at most. We could be done with this race, but Marasco may be done sooner because he just scrubbed that wall after getting around the 28. He'll be a little slow to the corner. And this is going to be on back in the field. This is P8, 9 on the track here. Marasco's in 8th, Zimmerman's in 9th. At 83, still a lap down or more.
So our leader should be right behind
There's your leader.
Battle. Yep.
And maybe the bigger story, your leader, Chris Carroll, is about to lap P2 in the points, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Let's see how easy of a battle this is. Butcher Benjamin has no interest in being lapped. He knows this could be a really bad night for him if it happens. But it just looks like that car is just not behaving. I don't think he has a choice. There it is. He's lapped.
Yeah, longest by a mile green flag run we've had today, this evening. We believe most people took 4 tires during those past round of pit stops, so shouldn't be anywhere near what they felt before they pitted yet. But
yeah, except for Marasco, right? He was the one that took 2.
Correct, Marasco did take 2. I forgot about that.
And Zimmerman as well. So I think maybe part of what we're seeing, by the way, out of Marasco, may be what we saw from Kilroe back in stage 2. You know, somebody's going to point out earlier that I love about the sim, we don't see a lot because we don't do a lot of nighttime racing at times. When these drivers get down to these corners, those wheel wells are lighting up. It's kind of hard to tell from that angle, of course, since I called it out. But they do glow red, just like they do in real life. It shows you how hard the drivers are on the brakes here. Let's see if we can find it here. There it is. Just shows you how hard we're riding the brakes, even in the sim here. At that 60 car, I mean, those wheels are glowing red on the inside, Teddy.
Yeah. Oh, I thought the 83 was going to get in the wall there off the corner. Yeah, they're definitely in both. It looks like the rears are glowing just as much as the front, too. Interesting there. Oh, 10 car got into the wall off the corner.
97's been really scraping that wall a little bit, too. You'd think with that gap he has, which is now about 4 seconds, maybe he'd be a little bit more patient and gentle and calm, but he's still pushing pretty hard. But now he's up in the middle of lap traffic, and so now he's going to come up here on Brian Zimmerman, who did take 2 tires last time, so this will be his next pass right here. This would allow him to lap up to P9 if he completes it. And when you're the leader right now, Teddy, I mean, it's kind of cool to get to lap the field, but this is also possibly the most nerve-wracking and dangerous thing you could do.
Maybe that's his goal. Maybe he wants to lap the field. That's why he's still pushing. I also personally know when I try to take a little mistakes. So maybe he's just trying to drive the race the way he's been driving it the whole time, just to limit those mistakes. But yeah, lapping into the top 10 is impressive.
It is impressive. I just start to wonder if it could be dangerous. Here's a good look at the big blimp view, the iRacing blimp, providing the sights here from Martinsville Speedway now over 11 p.m., 11:18 p.m. virtual sim time. The track temp is still 88 degrees Fahrenheit, so again, it has not cooled down. In fact, it went up a little bit. I just said cooled up. What the hell is cooled up? I don't know, but we said it cooled up. 4 degrees since the race start. That is not a word. Man, that's embarrassing. I've been playing Wordle to learn new words and everything, and then I just said cooled up in the middle of a broadcast.
Cooled up. I think we can make it stick.
Yeah. By the way, if you just want to realize how small your vocabulary is at times, Wordle, that'll do it to you, by the way.
I always start off with the same word and knocks out 4 vowels. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this real quick. I'm going to guess, you said 4 vowels, so that means your first word is audio.
No, but that's a good one. Yeah, adieu.
Okay, I start with alone for the record. We don't need to do the whole Wordle thing here. I've already done my Wordle for the day, but yeah, it's always fun to see what words people start with. Most friends of mine start with audio, which also has the 4 vowels in it.
It's everything but the E, right?
Yep, everything but the E.
Yeah, no, that's it. The vowels are the worst part. Once you get those figured out.
And if it's a double letter day, ooh, buddy.
Oh man, yeah, they throw a double Y in there sometimes, and it's just wrecks your world.
Speaking of wrecking the world, the 97 got loose there through 3 and 4, and I thought that could be wild. I mean, that again, we talked about how he's leading the race by a lot, and as a driver, I understand that rhythm is important. Keeping the same pace, keeping the same everything. If you ever ask a driver to slow down, it messes with your braking points and your what have you. But here you are now 4 seconds ahead of the field, getting loose to the corners. If I was the crew chief or the spotter for that car, I'd be saying, hey, dude, let's just slow down a little bit. You're making me nervous getting loose in the corner.
Yeah, I'd be backing it up with just a touch. Maybe not getting on throttle as early.
Right.
Just to keep it under wraps. You only got to make it 25 more laps. 24 more laps. So, yeah, but it's
And
like
that,
he's doing a really good job. His lead's 4.2 seconds. So,
yeah, I mean, you see in the yellow numbers on the bottom. That means he's gaining little by little over Hunter Lagoon each time by. So, by the way, he did lap Brian Zimmerman. By the way, we talked about that earlier. Next up on the board here would be Ty Marasco, and that won another car that took 2 tires. And boy, I mean, Chris Carroll has just walked away tonight. I mean, they led over 200 laps in this race. Dalton Kiros second has led 41. So, you know, it's just a pure dominant night by Chris Carroll so far.
yeah, it's. I think it's safe to say he was the person to beat tonight, just based off of those numbers alone. And then you can look at the fact that he's got a 4.2 second lead this final stage. As we near the end of it, Justin Levine is finishing. Looks not finishing, but he's currently in P3, starting to pull away from Tanner there. They were Tanner was trying to drive through him for a couple of laps previously, but looks like they've spaced each other out.
Levine, at one point, your points leader in this season, took a few weeks off and fell behind. But nights like this, it doesn't feel like a big points night on Kilrow and the others, but you keep having nights where you finish ahead, and you know, slowly you will close that gap little by little here. And in fact, for Chris Carroll, the same thing. You could argue, you know, you said in the pre-race show, it's a long season. Grind it out and see what happens. If Chris Carroll comes out and wins another race here, and he keeps winning as the season goes on, he may be as surprised as anyone to see where he runs when the playoffs begin.
Yeah, I don't know the stats.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Of the series, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. No, playoffs begin. Not too. He does actually. He has a few wins this season. So he's had a pretty successful season. The playoffs begin not too far from now, just after the holiday break for Labor Day, for the unofficial end of summer. So we'll see how that lines up and who runs where. Still a couple more races to go. Milwaukee Mile next week, and I'm kind of curious. You know, the Milwaukee Mile is kind of, in some people's minds, just a longer version of Martinsville, right? If those straightaways feel longer, the corners feel kind of the same a little bit sometimes to some people at Milwaukee. So I'm curious how different the race is next week compared to what we see this week.
Yeah, it does look. Just pulled up a quick map of it. Yeah, it looks like just a larger version of Martinsville.
So just kind of stretched it out, right? Just kind of didn't have the dimension lock on in Photoshop and just kind of stretched it one way and said, oh, look, a new racetrack.
Kind of like the old Homestead before they gave it back.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I would agree with that as well. But here we go. Tanner Moore again trying to make this pass on Justin Levine. We saw this battle probably about 30 laps ago, and Moore was just kind of slightly beating and banging, nothing too aggressive. He's going to possibly beat and bang again here down into, I think it's 3 and 4.
Yeah, I was just talking about how I thought he pulled away, but he roped him right back in, and yeah, he is giving him the bump. So let's see if he can make a pass. He's trying that outside, inside.
Oh, there's the bumper.
Bump. Oh, we got the curve.
Yeah, he is. You know, and this is probably a difference in how you grew up watching racing and what your philosophy is. I know in NASCAR world, we kind of believe in the bump and run, and Tanner Moore believes in the bump and run. But what's interesting about what's happening right here is, I think I noticed this time by finally, it almost feels like when Marr gets up there with that bumper, Levine kind of lifts a little bit, and it kind of just slows down the momentum of that bump. It kind of makes it less effective. You know, I don't know. We'll see if we can find, if it happens again. Watch that. It felt like Levine slowed down as that bumping was happening.
It's almost like he knows it's going to happen.
Right. Almost like if I'm going slower, you can't turn me around kind of thing. Like if I'm going super fast, you might get to me. Well, Levine's now going to have a teammate up front, and Matthew Kleinschmidt. He might want to communicate and say, hey, buddy, I've got someone on my bumper who wants a round, so I might need you to move, if you don't mind. Kleinschmidt a number of laps down, but this is possibly the opening Marr needs. If Kleinschmidt doesn't move out of the way for Levine, this will help Tanner Moore get to that back bumper again.
Looks like he gave him the bottom.
Yeah, I think he'll do it again here.
Yep.
Levine, the leader of One Sim Racing, one of the team owners over there, and having to run. Levine, of course, pretty well known across iRacing. He's made Road to Pro runs, been involved in multiple leagues, a well-known personality. And yep, they're both on through Kleinschmidt. They'll go back to battling. Now less than 10 laps to go, by 9 to go on the board. Means we've raced over 290 laps here at this racetrack. And up front, you're not missing anything. It's still a 3.5, almost 4-second lead by Chris Carroll. There's Chris Carroll. He's got Ty Marasco behind him, and that will probably be the last car he laps, I would think, unless something weird happens, because the next one up will be John Perkins, and he probably not get to Perkins in 7 laps.
I believe Marasco got around Carroll for quite a bit, and now he's officially back 1 lap down.
Yep, I would agree with that as well. So you're right, we saw that earlier, and now it's back around that way. So there you go. Now 6 laps to go. Come around again down this back straight. A track that requires lots of patience, lots of skill, some good braking points. Well, Chris Carroll has shown to have that all night long. Now 5 to go this time by. Speaking of 5, here's the 5 car. He's still under attack by the 4 car. That'll be the next lap to go count here. And Amar knows he probably gets one more chance at this, Teddy.
Yeah, I'd be curious how deep Mar's willing to drive it into a corner. He showed he's not afraid to use the bumper, but the question is how far does he want to?
Right, and the problem now that's happening for Justin Levine is all these cars up ahead. There's the 83 of Bruton they're going to get around. And actually, Bruton is going to act as a good moving pick here. He's going to put some space, I think, between Mar and Levine. He'll possibly give Levine a bit of a breather here with 4 to go. And that may be the last car they encounter here.
Are Trevor and the car in front of him fighting for position?
Trevor Harmon is fighting right now for P12, trying to run down Brian Dees. That is not Brian Dees in front of him. I believe it's to be Kyle Wellman up ahead. So they're a lap off.
4 cars
no,
loose.
Hold on.
Oh.
Yeesh, that was close. The 4
Oh
car got
my.
loose. That probably means he is done harassing Justin Levine. Meanwhile, Chris Carroll is going to come on around this time. And when he comes around down the back straight, 1.5 laps to go. The 97 cars led over 230 some laps tonight. He'll look to need one more as Barney the white flag man puts the white flag out here. Carroll comes down one more time. There's Brian Dees, by the way. Carroll's going to be nice and patient. No need to pass here. He'll come around and he'll look to add another win to the stat book. 300 laps run, 200 some laps led. The last lap counts, and the 97 wins at Martinsville.
Lagoon's going to take P2.
Yep, see a couple more battles happening on around the track here.
Levine's going to hold on to it with Mar just behind him in 4th.
Oh boy, what a night it was. Some frustration, some anger, some solid racing, some great passes at times. But one thing was for sure, the 97 ahead of the class. He'll come on around here and get his victory lap or his victory moment in. Maybe he almost junked the car in turns 3 and 4. Oh, buddy. So they'll do their traditional. Yeah, you can't. That's a hard skill. Congrats to him to get that. Oh, boy.
The wall's getting close.
That wall's getting closer and closer. We saw this about a Wednesday night when Bradley Holly tagged the wall in Premier Sim Racing while doing his victory burnouts. Now, a tradition in this league, Ted, has been to see how long can you do the burnout for down the track after you get to the start-finish line. So there he is now into the corner. Of course, only a half-mile track, so it looks pretty far, but distance-wise, still doing pretty good. You see those tires marks still coming down the lane here.
He's doing the Ross Chastain line.
Yeah, you lost. I saw the wiggle ended. All right, well, let's take a look at tonight's unofficial results after 300 laps. Chris Carroll is your winner by over 4.6 seconds over Hunter Lagoon. Justin Levine comes in P3, Tanner Mars in P4, Dalton Kilrose in P5. Gibson, Perkins, Marasco, Zimmerman, and TBB round out your top 10. Moving back into P11, you'll find Brian Dees with Trevor Harmon. These are cars now 1 or more laps down. Kyle Wellman's in 13th with Nicholas Moody and William Bruton in your top 15. And then Kleinschmidt, Edstrom, Jackson, Massengill round out your 19-car field. That number 20 car, your race control, did not take a lap, and that will go ahead and complete tonight's unofficial results. Well, what a night it was. A pretty interesting night, a fun night of good, solid race. And some drivers now celebrating here with us in the post-race show. So let's do this. Let's go and start off our night of interviews here with our race winner. That is Chris Carroll. He'll rack up yet another win in the Blazing Pedals ARCA League. And Chris, not much to say other than you were kind of the head of the class tonight.
Well, Martinsville, I really like. It's one of those places I could drive a dump truck around. I think if I could put dump trucks out there, but I've always done my testing for how I want to, do stuff in certain cars here, and it's paid off. I got a lot of laps around here, and it's a driver's track for tires, for speed, for all kinds of stuff. It's a track I really love, Derrick.
So the only laps I recall you not leading were the ones after the first stage when Dalton won the pit road battle and he took the 2-tire call. I have to ask, did that 2-tire idea ever come to mind for you?
Yeah, I thought about it. If it came down to it, a caution late maybe. I had a plan to take 2 on my last stop, and I thought, I saw Dalton fade real quick on those 2. It was good for a few laps, and I didn't think, maybe on a pit stop, it might have saved you some time, but then you're going to lose the time on the other end. So it wasn't really worth it. You weren't gaining that much if it was a full tank. And it crossed my mind, for certain situations, but I just kind of stuck to the game plan on what lap I wanted to pit and take tires. And Hunter had a great run out there too. So he changed my plans a little bit.
So he's talked about your love of Martinsville. Well, next week you go to the track that kind of just feels like we stretched out Martinsville a little bit and made the Milwaukee Mile. Does your love of Martinsville extend to Milwaukee?
I don't know if I am going to answer that question, Derrick, on the grounds that it might incriminate me, but no, I'm just kidding. Milwaukee's a fun track too. It's a driver's track, and there's a lot of guys in this league that could win that race. Actually, you wait till next week. That's going to be a good race. A lot of guys here in this league are really fast at Milwaukee, and I think you could see probably 15 or so different winners that could win that race.
Well, a great run tonight, over 230 some laps led. Chris, an amazing race, as you're doing this interview. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
I always got to thank Tanner Marr. He got me into all these leagues. I wouldn't be having as much fun as I do if it wasn't for him. I got to thank Brian Zimmerman at USAFirearms.com. I got to thank all my teammates out there, Cody Gibson and Hunter and Zimmy and all the guys out there that we've been running for years together. So I got to thank you for the great interview, and all my friends and family out there for watching, and everybody who puts on this league.
All right, well, Chris, amazing run. Congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for a good interview, bud.
All right, that is Chris Carroll coming home tonight with the win. Now, I believe for P2 and Hunter Lagoon, he has caught up with Ted Lowendick.
Hey, Hunter, welcome to the booth. Great run tonight, P2. What do you think you needed to get by your teammate there?
For him to not show up, I mean, the guy was dominant. I don't think there was nothing I could do, really. Yeah, he was gone. I don't know.
So we had a mixture of runs tonight. We had the 2 stages, but what do you think? The longest run that we had was obviously, but over the course of those stints, what did you feel from the car, the balance of the car?
It was pretty tight, like, throughout the run. You could, like, I had my brake bias low enough to where I was getting loose in, and, when we started shifting and stuff, I was tied out, but, there was a period there where we didn't have to shift, and that's when I felt the best, just when I was able to drag the brake and, kind of roll around, save tire and stuff. But besides that, I don't know. It's kind of wild night.
We had a great run. Looking forward to next week, or how do you feel about?
Oh man, heck yeah! Love that track. Love Milwaukee. So we'll see.
All right. Well, I hope you have a good run next week. Do you have anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank Tanner Marr, Brian Zimmerman, USA Firearms, Chris Carroll at Lizard Performance, Kyle Wellman, Cody Gibson. Thank you guys for, broadcasting, and I got to thank everyone over here, all the admins at BPL, giving us a good platform to race on. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. As I've said again, you had a really great run tonight. And thanks for jumping in the booth with us.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right, that is Hunter Lagoon coming home in P2. Now we'll talk to the New York native, the man in Taco Bell car who had an amazing run tonight. Justin Levine, lots to talk about. I'm going to start by asking you, from our point of view in the booth, that battle with you and Tanner looked intense and like it was never going to end. Did it feel that way from inside the car?
Oh, big time. We couldn't wait for the laps to count down and finish. Took 2 tires there just trying to get track position. Felt like I couldn't go forward. Just the dirty air, no matter what I did. It just wasn't working. So the 2-tire worked for us. And after about like 30, 40 laps on it, we were a brick. We were just rolling through the corner, had to park it, and Tanner was definitely lifting my tires off the ground. And if it wasn't that I have a couple of short track experiences under my belt, I think I would have looped it or definitely just been sent to the moon there.
Well, of course, we know you're, really the head of one sim, and as a driver tonight, you had a great run. For the team, though, what do you guys got to do at one sim to kind of get everyone on the same page together here?
Hit them all with a brick. No, they just need to show up. Half the battle is everyone's busy. This went from like something casual to something that like I actually have a chance for the championship and the playoffs coming up here. So for them not really being into it, it's still casual. They need luck, and Colby needs to chill out.
Colby needs to chill out. All right, well, a great solid run tonight in P3. Next week we go to the Milwaukee Mile. What are your thoughts on that track?
Oh, man. I love the track, just not with the ARCA car. I think we're going to see exactly what we saw tonight. A lot of single file running in place, no one being able to pass. Hopefully we can take 2 tires and be a little loose here. But if I had a choice, I would skip it.
Fair enough. Well, I hear you already got a couple of fans via the four-legged creatures in the background there. Anyone else you give a shout out to or say hello to?
Shout out one of them. It's his birthday. He just turned 6. Milo, the unit. Besides that, shout out to you guys. You guys do such a great job. Love going back and watching the replays and the full broadcast. Shout out to Mark and all the admins that put this on, and of course all the viewers tuning in and watching us.
All right, Justin, listen, great run tonight in that Taco Bell machine. Good luck next week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You're welcome. That rounds out our podium interviews for this evening, Teddy. What are your last thoughts about this race?
It was an enjoyable one. Very clean race. A couple there. I think we've seen some new rivalry made tonight, or at least one. I'm curious to see how next week goes. If based off of what Justin just said, he thinks it's going to be a similar race with single file. But yeah, I think overall good night of racing, and happy I was here to broadcast with.
Yeah, I'm happy you were here as well. We're also happy you were here with us for this race here, but we'll be happier if you're with us next week at the Milwaukee Mile. Same time, same day of the week, August 17th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here live on Green Flag TV. Well, for Dustin Ollis, pushing all the buttons and making us look and sound good down in the production truck, for Ted Lowendick, my color commentator, I am Derrick Watson, saying thank you for watching. If you missed this race, you can catch this race and every race from the Blazing Pedals ARCA League here on the Green Flag TV YouTube channel. Once again, a big shout out and a moment of memory for Harold Bud Milner, this race in his honor. Once again, congrats to Chris Carroll on winning this race. So long, and we'll see you next week at Milwaukee.